Hey guys, this is Amy coming to you with an update. This is weeks 65 through 80, I believe, because I'm jumping ahead in time fast and furious here. Jake decided to be in my lap, I guess, for this video, so we'll see how long that lasts. In any event, I wanted to catch you guys up on how I'm doing. A year and a half now since my surgery on June 24th of 2015 with Dr. Enox. My starting weight was 275. On the date of surgery, I'm a little more bony now than I used to be. Not the padded spot he used to like. Anyway, 265 on date of surgery. Last time I came to you, I was 163 pounds and just 3 pounds from my surgeon's goal of 160 flat, 160 even. This week I came in at 154. So I'm still losing, which is a surprise to everyone. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that in my taxi cab confession section of this video. But I am not trying to lose at all, believe you me. And I'm sure I'm going to be that bitch that eats what she wants and loses weight. There are penalties for that, and we're going to talk about that too. But let's, sorry, dog on arm. Let's get to things as they are. I have my year-and-a-half appointment with my surgeon's office this Thursday, so I'll be able to tell you more then about after that rather about what happens, what they think, how my labs look, and I'll do an update video on that to see if I'm taking my vitamins the way I'm supposed to. I know there have been some requests from some of you in my comments, which I've just now started to go through, that talk about asking for my vitamin regimen or my vitamin charts that I use to keep track of my labs. I will happily share those, and I will try to put something up in response to those specific people, but have it generally available too in my next update once I get it, cleared of personal data and that kind of stuff. But I'm more than happy to share the template I use. It's not fancy, but I'm happy to share it. For those of you DSers that track that stuff, and non-DSers, but especially heavy malabsorbers, we want to make sure that we do that right. I'm happy to talk more about vitamins with the folks that have asked me questions on that. But as a general rule, I will say that all of the duodenal switch veterans that have come through my door in terms of me checking message boards and doing internet research and going to some support meetings and so forth. I didn't find those as helpful, but that's just me. They were universal in saying you start out with a basic set of vitamins that you take. They're a little more extensive than your standard bariatric surgeon recommends. And then you adjust your levels, you adjust your intake of those vitamins based on your labs as they come back. A lot of times you can drop some of those for a while. A lot of times you can drop some of those permanently. But that way you're never trying to claw back out of a deficit, which is a lot harder to do, particularly in things like iron and certain other vitamins that calcium too, once they get low, it gets mighty hard to start digging them back out. Ooh, so first of all, hope you guys had a fantastic holiday. I know I'm so squirrel today, but I got a really pretty necklace that has a really cute, pretty design in it, and then I got this badass ring. So I did so good this Christmas. I mean, I don't usually get jewelry, but I did this time for some reason, and it was awesome. So gotta look at the camera, sorry. So let's talk about stuff. The first thing is just personal to me, probably doesn't have that much to do with the rest of you. My epilepsy is doing a lot better. That had to do with my malabsorption of my medications. And it took months and months and months for things to start to go wrong, but when they did, they went really wrong. I was typically a person that would have seizures about 1 or 2 a month, maybe. That was enough to keep me having memory issues and problems, but it was not bad. And then suddenly they started not suddenly, but they started escalating. And eventually I was having a few a week to several a week. It was really bad. And the intensity of them and some of their side effects made it difficult for me to do basic things like sleep and care for myself the way I needed to. I was in rough shape. And you may have seen that in prior videos. I even had some folks comment on me not looking well. I don't know if they were watching the videos or not, but no, in fact, I did not feel well. I'm definitely doing better in that regard, and so that part's awesome. So yay. When it comes to another issue, though, that has popped up, also surgery related, according to my OBGYN, I will caveat before I start talking about this, if there are gentlemen watching, about to talk about some lady issues. So I would cue ahead a few minutes. I'll raise my hand if you want to fast forward and kind of see where I stop talking about it. I'm not going to go into tons of gory detail, but my reproductive system has basically gone full throttle, I guess, since it just kind of kicked in about 3 or 4 months ago. And I basically started menstruating and I couldn't stop for 3 or more months. And that was bad. They really believe that this is a result of the dramatic weight loss and the hormonal shifts that have resulted from that. I am 43 years old, so I am a little early for menopause. But I'm probably not looking to procreate at this point, so it's kind of up in the air as to how we're going to handle this. It all depends on whether or not I can get this under control. They actually, I already use a Mirena IUD, and they had to add a birth control patch on top of that. I'm the most protected woman on the planet. Just trying to get the hormonal balance in whack. No luck with that so far. And it has drained me of energy, which has led to some problems on the fitness front that I will talk about in just a minute. So that's been kind of a bummer. Hand raised. We're just going to stop talking about lady issues. So it's been kind of a bummer because it's impacted my fitness ability to engage in fitness with the level of vigor that I want to. But I'm hoping that it's temporary, and I've got doctor's appointments coming up on that too. So enough about that. I'm happy to talk about those things at length with anybody. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not shy about it, but I also don't want to TMI people who are like, wow, I just wanted to check in and see if you were eating carrot sticks this week. So enough said. I'm going to do a what I ate today in the coming couple of weeks. Maybe I'll do a couple of them just so you can kind of see, at least if you're not a DSer and you're curious what, you're a prospective WLS patient, or you are a VSG or another patient that might be looking to make a revision, or you're just curious. How do DSers eat? It does vary by person. And for those of you who don't already know or haven't watched my other videos, my duodenal switch is a little bit different in that I have a very long common channel. My common channel is very long because initially I wanted the SIPS surgery, which has a very long common channel. I was really focused on getting rid of diabetes, and so I decided that I did have 120 pounds to lose, 125 or 100, something like that. But I was still considered by duodenal switch standards a lightweight. That is usually a heavy hitter surgery reserved for people with a lot of weight to lose. And so oftentimes they will adjust the length of your common channel so that you have more absorption. And if you need any help on the mechanics of the surgery or anything, I'm happy to walk you through that, or the physiology of a post-surgical body for a duodenal switch patient. But basically, you can imagine the longer the food has time to travel through the absorption portion of your intestines, your small intestine, the more nutrients get absorbed, the more calories get absorbed, and the lower the chance you have for malnutrition, for vitamin issues, and so forth. But conversely, the higher the chance you have for retaining or regaining weight because you're not malabsorbing as much. So that's definitely a cost benefit analysis you need to do with your surgeon when you're making that decision. But I reached a decision that I was looking at about 275 centimeters. The typical duodenal switch is in the ballpark of 100 centimeters. Some do as low as 50. Some go as high as oh, sorry, I'm like Miss Popular today, and I have no idea how that could be. But anyway, some go as high as like 150, 125. My length of common channel was fairly unusual, but my surgeon really pushed that because he believed that the malnutrition issues faced by and vitamin deficiency issues faced by a lot of duodenal switch patients could be avoided if you went with a longer common channel. And if you had somebody who wasn't as overweight to begin with, it was doubly important to not shortchange them in the absorption department. So, blah, blah, blah. Accountability. Let's talk. Nirvana and Elizabeth and others have been really inspiring me this week by making videos talking about real life, talking about the things that they're doing that are keeping them closer to their goal and the things that they're doing that are not. And those are all real life. That you don't just flip a switch and suddenly decide that you're going to be this amazing WLS patient and that you're never going to misstep and that you're never going to fall back into any old habits, and that the comfort that you derived from food, which we all did, because even skinny people do. Okay? I mean, skinny people who were never fat. There is a certain amount of pleasure. That's why it's the basis of social gatherings and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's why we party with food, we commiserate with food, we mourn with food. All of those things happen around food, and that doesn't go away. Those pleasure centers of your brain do not suddenly switch off. And when you've been at this process for a while, and I'm only a year and a half out, I'm not pretending to be some seasoned veteran, but I will say that I've been doing it long enough that you start to hear those old siren songs. You start to, hey, I bet I could have a couple Doritos, or hey, I bet I could have some of this or some of that, and you start experimenting and seeing what you can get away with. Now, other people have been talking about the fact that that has led them down the path toward some regain, and that is totally possibly going to be the case for me too. So I'm not in any way claiming that that's not something I have to worry about. It definitely is. But for the moment, right now, the penalty for me for misstepping, and I have been misstepping, is entirely stomach and gastrointestinally related. So when you malabsorb like I do, you definitely have to watch your carb intake. If you overdo it on carbs, and there are other foods that you can sometimes develop difficulties with, like beans or dairy, or everybody's got their own thing that they don't do well with. Sorry about the snoring, it's my beagle. You face troubles with those. And so I have found myself overindulging in carbs, no question about it, and not just the holidays, particularly as I was dealing with more and more stuff with my feminine issues, and also just wanting to experiment, wanting to have that experience. I was eating shit I shouldn't have been eating, you guys. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it. In my case, it hasn't led to weight gain. In my case, it's led to being stuck in the bathroom, or feeling horribly, painfully bloated and having to deal with gas and other things people probably don't want to know. So I've been eating dangerously, and it isn't. I mean, there are dragons down there. It's been really tough. It has been my goal, not really a January 1st, New Year's resolution, but a life resolution that I'm going to try to right the ship. And that means I've got to choose that balance where I allow some of those things so I don't feel deprived, but I do it in proportions that I know I can master. And I've kind of nerded out on this and decided to create a series of experiments where I allow myself certain things, but only certain things, and the rest of the day I'm good, and then see how that day goes. So I'm back on my Fitness Pal. I am logging everything when I'd been letting that slide too, and I'm really committed now to trying to get this. To find out what I can do to have a whole, full eating life and eat healthily. Hi, Jake. So, yeah, that's for sure happening. And I mean, it's kind of strange because I haven't been spanked in the weight gain department, but I mean, I could easily just be in the honeymoon phase still, or it could be my malabsorption is just that way and is treating me that way right now. But the costs are significant. This isn't just like, oh man, I go to the bathroom a couple extra times. I'm like wrapped up in bed with heating pads trying to make it through. And I do it to myself. That is some destructive psychological stuff. So I am not going to do that. I've been working with some probiotics, experimenting with different ones of those, and I'm going to find the right chemistry balance here for me that lets me, get all those good gut bacteria down there and then feed them and treat them right. I'm running a zoo. I mean, really, that's what you're doing. And it's a symbiotic relationship. They are going to treat me well if I treat them well. And what I've been doing is putting down all these probiotics for healthy foods and then eating crap. So I'm not feeding the things that I've put down there. I'm not taking care of myself. And that's not doing anybody any favors. And I'm really glad that I've had the chance and been given some bravery here by Elizabeth and Nirvana and other great vloggers too to talk about it, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I don't mean to ever make myself out to be something I'm not. I just didn't know how to talk about it, particularly because in my case, I'm not gaining weight. So then how much of a hoser do I look like that I'm like, okay, you guys, it's really rough, but I'm not gaining weight, but I have made myself feel really shitty about eating Doritos. Who's gonna relate to that? Well, you know what? Maybe somebody. Or maybe somebody's just gonna be like, it doesn't really matter what the impact is on you. If it's negative and it's not working to help you get towards your goal, let's work together and try to change that. And that's sort of the feeling that I have is I'm gonna put it out there. So there's that. The other thing is my strength training has gone totally by the wayside for the last few months, mostly because of the feminine issues I've been having. I have zero energy and I'm probably anemic. So we're going to find out all of that stuff when things come down for me in the coming weeks. So we'll see how that goes with the labs and everything with the doctor's appointment. Finally, plastics. I am ready. The surgeon is ready. He says I'm bodily exactly where I need to be, and he's going to be able to do a lot of great stuff. I've selected my surgeon, and I'm really comfortable with him. Right now, though, I have to scrimp and save. I've got to get ready for it. I'm going to be financially responsible about that process. So I won't have much to report on the plastics front for a little while, but I will keep you guys posted as things develop. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I will keep you guys posted as best I can and try to do what I'm eating video here in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, please take very good care of yourselves, and thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.